Kilo Charlie 0, Sierra Hotel Victor. This is Kyle in Iowa. Do you read me, Jim?
I copy you. This is Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor.
Yeah, this is Kilo Charlie 0, Sierra Hotel Victor. I spoke with you last week. Just heard not too many people on. I thought I'd call in and say good morning.
Roger, Roger. What's the last half of the call sign?
Sierra Hotel Victor.
Oh, Roger. Iowa, Roger.
How's my signal this morning?
Let's see. Well, I unfortunately I went to off my antenna attenuate, and so I am into compression, which I don't want to be. Let me dump my attenuator back on and come back and let's look at you.
Okay, now how do I sound right now?
Oh gosh, looks like about an 8 over my noise level, about 8 dB over my noise level. That's the best yet.
Good. I think I'm finally getting this thing dialed in.
Oh, Roger, Roger. Yeah, just out of curiosity, you're running what kind of antenna?
I've got just a random length piece of wire that's tuned with a balanced line tuner.
Oh, Roger, well, you are now 10 dB over my noise level, Roger.
That sounds good. Thank you very much. Well, I won't keep you long, Jim. I just thought I'd check in. I enjoy listening on YouTube, and it's a lot of fun. I appreciate it. 7 3s. We'll talk to you again one of these times.
Oh, Roger, Roger. Now, I was just looking at your audio. This is probably the best signal that you've given me. And I'm just wondering, have you ever tried about a 3 out of 10 compression processing just to fatten that signal up? In other words, right now, it looked like you're not running much processing, and the audio is fairly unprocessed, and that would mean that your average peak modulation would be at 30%. Whereas if you were to run, say, a 3 out of 10, you would start the fattening process and then consult your ALC and run that at mid-scale to 2/3, and looking to reduce the dynamic range to about 4 dB, 3 to 4 dB dynamic range. Gives you a very, very good average peak modulation, Roger.
Roger that. This old radio doesn't have much in the way of control over compression, etc., I don't believe.
Roger, you mean it's either in or out?
That's exactly right.
Wow. Well, okay, then you could probably, if you went to your, put the compressor in and go to ALC and bring the ALC audio to mid-scale, and we could take a listen to it and see what we got there.
I'll give it a try. Hang on.
This is KC9VKV with the Friday morning Qso-Vlog recording. If you've got a radio you want to check out, give us a shout, and we'll record you and post it later on YouTube. Right now we're checking and standing by for Iowa. Kilo Charlie 0, Sierra Hotel Victor.
Okay, I've turned down my right gain, turned the processor on, and let's see what that does.
Okay, now go to your ALC and adjust your mic gain for mid-scale operation in your ALC. Mid-scale to 2/3 on your ALC, Roger?
Roger that. Let me see. 1, 2, 3.
Stand by, station.
afraid I'm going to have to work on this to get, I know exactly what you're after. My ALC is off the scale, and I'm going to have to figure out how to get that knocked back.
Okay, just to back your mic gain down. Turn your mic gain down so you're operating within the confines of the ALC reading, Kyle.
Testing. Right there, how's that sound?
All right, talk to me for just a minute.
Okay, I've got the ALC, or the mic gain, cut in about half of where I usually run it, and hopefully that will make a difference.
All right. Do you have your compression processor in? Is it on?
Roger that, yes.
And what reading? How much? You don't have an input control for your compressor?
Negative.
Wow. Huh. That would be very unusual. Usually you do have an amount of insertion of that compressor. Might check your book to see where that might be. I can't believe it would just be in and out thing, Roger.
You're right. I'll have to check into the manual for that. This is an old radio, and I'm not sure that it's got the process off and on. That's about the size of it.
Roger that. Well, I might as well run with it on because it doesn't seem to actually be doing very much, you know, and unfortunately you can't get to the output of it. If you could get to the output and increase the input, you would get a better compression ratio, a more compression than what you're doing right now. But in the interim, and check the book, and when all else fails, check the book.
Yeah, well, you're right. Read the instructions.
Roger, Cal. Well, let me say threes to you, sir. And again, we'll be posting, this Qso on YouTube. So, did you check? Have you heard your stuff on YouTube?
I have indeed, and I'm very pleased with how it sounds. I'm very happy about that.
Roger. Well, if we could, the thing is, right now you're pretty much, even with that compressor in, your signal audio-wise looks pretty unprocessed. So you're running full dynamic range, whereas what we want to do actually is close that dynamic range up and get it fatter. And when you get it fatter, you will sound about twice or three times louder than what you are.
Okay, well, like I say, I have to read the instructions and see if I can't get that. There's got to be a solution to that.
Roger, because now you are hitting 100%, but it's only occasionally, and it's a hard hit, whereas with a little processing, it would soften that and fatten that up so that meter would not move very, very much, would stay up there when you're speaking, and that would mean that you're transmitting a much fuller audio signal. So let me say threes to you now, Kyle, and I'll let you to read the book, and maybe we'll try it next Friday, Roger.
Sounds like a plan. Thanks very much, Jim. 7-3 to you as well. Again, keep up the good work. This is KC0SHV, and I'm standing by.